Hey everybody. Today's edition of Writing Notes is about the polemic style of argumentation. Now, the polemic is a pretty common style of argument that we run into, especially today in the digital age, because, any of you who have read, say, an op-ed piece online and then read the comments section will be familiar with the polemic style. Even if in a very informal way. So basically what the polemic is a strongly worded argument in favor of a single position within a debate. So, we think about things like political speeches, opinion editorial pieces, lawyers' closing arguments, things like this. Debates that get sort of polarized very quickly, things like abortion, same-sex marriage, death penalty, things like this, legalizing marijuana. All of these things tend to produce polemical arguments. And basically, again, what a polemic is you say, this is my position and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to give you guys evidence for it. I'm going to make my argument as strongly as I can using and generally, polemics use strong claims and they use carefully crafted rhetoric. So these are really the two sort of key foci, the key things that we're going to focus on for the polemic. The use of a main claim, an overall claim, and then a set of subclaims, what we might call topic sentences. And again, typically, if you look back at my videos on a thesis and the video on the claim evidence interpretation paragraph structure, you'll get kind of a better sense of this. But typically what you have in a polemic is an overall thesis, a main argument that the person is trying to make, and then a set of subclaims, a set of topic sentences. And then each of those topic sentences gets supported with a certain amount of evidence and some kind of interpretation. Now, polemics tend to rely heavily on rhetorical strategies. They're very... rhetoric is a very important component of the way that polemicists write, because they don't tend to create fair and balanced arguments. They tend to create one-sided, strongly held arguments. And so in order to convince someone to accept your argument without acknowledging other points of view, you need to be very, very, very skillful in terms of how you use rhetoric. Because part of the problem is that humans have what's called a confirmation bias. So if we already believe something, we're more likely to accept that that thing is true, even if the evidence that we're given is unreliable, whereas our confirmation bias will also kick in the opposite direction, so that even if the other side has really good evidence for something, we're more likely to be skeptical of it. And because polemicists argue in a public sphere, they argue where both their supporters and their opponents can hear them and respond to them, especially today in the digital age when anyone can leave a comment. So in order to craft an effective polemic, especially for opponents, you need to be rhetorically savvy. You need to rely on ethos, so you need to establish your credibility and why people should listen to you. You need logos, you need data, you need an effective structure, you need an effective argumentation style, and you need pathos. You need to get to the emotions of your audience. You need to convince them on a visceral level that what you're saying is right. And this is what people who write polemics try to do, is they try to use these strong claims, they try to use effective structures, and they try to use well-crafted rhetoric in order to convince anyone who will listen, supporters and opponents, that the argument that they're making, the side that they take in this debate, is the only correct side.